Let me show you how I make my perfectly chewy and delicious Kaiser rolls at home. I love my Kaiser rolls like this. I like them to be chewy. I don't like them to have a really thick crust, and I just think these are fantastic. And I'm going to show you how to make them without a mixer, just by hand using a dough whisk, or a wooden spoon would work, and mainly just my hands. You're going to mix together some all-purpose flour, semolina, instant yeast, and sugar until combined. You just want to give that a nice little stir, and then you're going to add in some warm water and some salt. I'm using a dough whisk here, but like I said, a wooden spoon works great. Eventually, you're just going to use your hands anyway, so just make it easy on yourself. Whisk that together until it starts to come together, and then once it becomes a little too thick for your dough whisk to handle, just switch to your hands and kind of knead it together until the flour is absorbed. It will not be perfect, but that is fine. When you get to this point, you're going to go ahead and cover it. Place it somewhere warm for about 30 minutes. Then after 30 minutes, you're going to come in here and do your first set of stretch and folds. You're going to dip your hands in a little bit of water, and starting from the outside, you're going to just pull in from the sides, sort of pull and tuck in the center, all the way around your ball of dough. Just do this, carefully. You don't want to tear the dough, because remember, it's quite stiff at this point still. It's only been resting for 30 minutes. You're going to do this all the way around, and once you've done your first set, you're going to go ahead and cover it, let it rest somewhere warm another 30 minutes, and you're going to come back and do it again. You're going to do a total of 3 sets of stretch and folds, and this is really nice to help the gluten develop and gives really great structure to your dough. So cover that another 30 minutes somewhere warm, and then you'll come in and you do your last set. And when I do the last set of stretch and folds, I like to just take the dough at the very end after my last stretch and fold and kind of fold it onto itself into like a nice, soft, and somewhat smooth, ball of dough. And once it's there, I'm just going to cover it and let it rise until more than doubled. It'll take about an hour to 2 hours depending on how warm your environment is. And once it's there, it's ready to rock and roll. Look how gorgeous that dough is. It is so foolproof, so easy, it's amazing. You're going to dump it on a lightly floured surface, and then you're going to go ahead and cut out about 4-ounce dough balls. You can make them about 4.2 to 4.3 ounces, because you're kind of going to have a little bit extra if you do exactly 4, but you should have about 9 balls of dough. I like to shape them into a little round ball like that, and then place them on a lightly floured baking sheet. Sprinkle a little flour on top and cover them with a lint-free towel and let them rest for about 45 minutes or so. Once there, you're going to take, this is a Kaiser roll scorer, but I'm going to show you something else that you may already have on hand that really works for this. And you're going to just score the top of these. You're going to go all the way down, not puncturing through the dough, but you're going to go pretty much all the way down to make your form. If you don't happen to have one, which by the way, all I did was sprinkle a little bit of flour and cover those up, you can go ahead and use an apple slicer or an apple core. You might already have one of these in your drawer somewhere, and it works the same way. Just make sure you flour it, and then just cover them and let them rest for about an hour. You want them to be really well risen. I do an hour because I want them to be fluffy and chewy and perfect. Bake them at 425 with a water pan underneath of them to create steam for about 25 minutes or until they look like this. All the info in the caption. Enjoy.